and welcome to my studio. Thank you so much for joining me today. Currently we are working on alcohol inks techniques, so let's get started with one of our videos.
We're going to do some kind of maybe stained glass look. We're going to use puffy paint to be our barrier on our alcohol inks. You also could use the lead black paint in the stained glass paints if you wanted to. But I have the puffy paint. It's more at least inexpensive. I'm going to put a pattern on. However I want that pattern to go. I'm going to do a fall leaf here. And I'm just tracing it on. You can use whatever type of pattern you want to, however you want to do it. This one has a little acorn, which would be really cute up on top, maybe on each side of this pattern. Just whatever you decide. And you don't want something that's too complicated that has a lot of line work. So when you're working with your puffy paint, you want to make sure that the air is as much out of them as possible. The fuller the bottle, the easier it is. And if you can keep those as stable as you can and just push and pull with the same consistency. And on this, you have to think about which your hand is going to be in it. So I'm probably going to stop about halfway down and put some veins in the middle of the flower before I do the other half, because otherwise I think I would probably get back into that. So I'm going to put some veins down the center of this. And then I probably will turn this piece upside down. Would probably be easier than the way I'm pulling it. Maybe not. Because you got to remember, you got to not get into the paint. If you hit an air bubble, try to start where you left off as much as possible. So now I'm going to go ahead and try and do our little acorns here. And I think I'm just going to pull these down from there. Just do it that way. And if you're working on a bigger gourd, you may want to just do a section at a time and let it dry. That is going to be up to you. Just remember, your pattern is just an idea. So I'm going to bring our stem up here just a bit. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and let that dry. Once your puffy paint has dried, I am going to use my masking fluid and cover up the leaf in the acorn itself so I can sponge color on the outside without it going over. And this is another example when you can use a masking fluid. I'm using an old brush. It is water-based, but it's kind of a rubber cement effect. And I'm going to go ahead and cover up my puffy paint as well. And that is going to keep that nice and clean as much as possible. So when I put my alcohol inks over that, we don't have to worry about that. So I'm going to go ahead and do all of that, and then I'm going to let it dry and we're going to start applying our inks. once the masking fluid has dried, I'll make sure all your pencil lines are off. I'm going to go ahead and do the outside edges, and I'm going to start with my mixative of gold. Put a little bit of gold in here. In fact, we're just going to do this all in one thing on our felt. Do just a tad of gold, not very much. And then I think for my background colors, I use Botanical. I'm using a small piece, so I don't need a lot of color or ink as normal. I do lettuce and a little bit of sunshine yellow. And we're just going to start putting that on. And I'm going to kind of go here and there first, because remember how we talked about it's wettest at first and then it starts to get dry. So, and kind of turn it around so you don't have the same pattern every time. Another thing you could do is you could always take brown and shade around the leaf. That will pop it forward and make it stand out so it doesn't blend down into the leaf. So that gives us a nice background. That's pretty dry. We're not going to wait on that too long, and we're going to start to pull our masking fluid off here. This is so much fun. Reminds me of when we were in school and we used to put glue on our hands and let it dry and then pull it off in different shapes and stuff. Alright, so we've got that all nice and clean, and let's go ahead and start filling in our pieces. For my acorn, I want a light brown and a dark brown, and we're also going to be using our extender to help us in some of these. I'm going to pour it into my palette. Don't need very much. I'm going to be using my mini paint brushes to paint it with. So I'm going to start with my dark, just up here in the acorn top. And I'm going to put that up there in that stem. We're going to clean out our brush with our alcohol and go to our next color. If you have two brushes, you could just set it in the alcohol to let it dry. Using a lighter color alcohol here. And I'm going to put a little bit of the extender, or you could use the alcohol, either one, down into my palette. I'm going to put it on with my paintbrush. I'm going to do it over the top of my inks just to kind of make a highlighted area. And I want to do that down on this part here, but I'm not quite sure if it's dry enough, but we'll go ahead and do it anyway. So, right there, and that just gives it that little bit of the accent. So now I want to do my leaf, and I'm going to do some reds, a little bit of green, brown, orange, yellow, a little bit of purple, whatever colors you want your leaf to be. I'm keeping a Q-tip sitting by that's got either my blender or my alcohol, so if I get it up on these I can take it off, but you don't want a lot, and they're just enough that you could rub along the tops of that to get that out. And I'm going to use a darker green here. You could even put a little bit of extender if you want to under this a little bit, and then it'll give you a little bit more play time. So I'm going to use a little bit of extender. You could use your alcohol, but it's going to dry a little bit faster than the extender here. And we're going to try and keep it off of our black lines. And I'm going to do it over here as well. Just kind of move it around. Kind of wiped my brush out. Go into that next color, but don't be afraid to bring it back in to that other color and kind of blend the two colors together. Here and there, wherever you kind of think you want that color to go. There's no right or wrong on it. It's just how you interpret it. Now my purple, I think I'm going to add just a tad of the white mix it of not very much at all. Not even a full drop, because I just have a drop of the purple. I'll probably put a little bit of extender in it because the mixative makes it thick. So we get more of that purple color here. And I'm going to go back in a minute and blend that out just a little bit more. But you can put that purple coming up on the edges. However you see that. Bit more red. All right. So, brush out here, and I'm going to come back in. You could also hit the outside or all of it with your spray bottle or your toothbrush, whatever way you would want to. But I'm going to just come back in with my extender and just manipulate those colors so that they're kind of blending in together. You can do that however you want to. Now wipe it from time to time just so I'm not pulling colors that I'm not into that area. Let's see how that's blending that in together. Oh, that's really starting to look fun. And you can just keep playing with it till you get it wherever you want it. Or you may think you're there and stop. You don't want to overdo it. I think I am going to stop.
Thank you so much for watching our video today. One of the great sources for alcohol inks is bluewhalearts.com, as well as your local scrapbooking section, so check those out. This is one of many of the alcohol inks techniques that we are currently doing, so make sure you check out all of our others. Give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can be one of the first to be notified when they are out. God bless.